Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our weekly DSS break. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm streaming here live every week to talk about data science experiences and best practices with leading data professionals in a 15-minute break. I'm Anna Annison, founder of Data Science Salon, and I'm streaming here live from our HQ, which is located in the heart of Miami, right next to the Design District. And I'm really, really excited about my guests today. Today's break, I'm sitting down with Noelle Silver, who's the global partner of AI analytics at IBM, and she's also here in Miami area, which is really awesome. And she specializes in advising companies on emerging technologies such as conversational AI to build intelligent contact centers. And she'll tell us more about how companies can use this technology to create better customer experience and what the main challenges are with the new type of engagement. And I know that Noelle does a lot of other things. So I know we won't be able to get to all of that, but I'm really excited to talk to you about this very specific thing. And thank you so much for joining us this episode. And Noelle, if you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background and all the other things that you're working on too.
Yeah, absolutely. So great to be here. I am an executive at IBM in the AI and analytics organization, specifically in consulting, which is nice because some of us know IBM, maybe IBM of the olden days, where IBM, of course, has its own technology stack, but in the consulting organization, I get to bring all of the things. So I'm an AWS certified solutions architect. I'm an MVP in AI at Microsoft. So I love all of my children, these hyperscalers. I'm actually delivering a talk at Google Developers next week. So I like to make sure that when I talk to customers that I bring them the best of breed from all of these different areas. My journey into AI started with Amazon Alexa. So I was an early member of that team. I got to build over 100 applications for Alexa. I have a couple million users have used these applications. So I not only, of course, understand the business value, but I also really enjoy putting my fingers on a keyboard and actually building solutions that help people. So yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Awesome. No, that sounds like, Alexa, I feel like is the ultimate AI, and that's
Yes.
what people think of when they're like, what is AI? You could be like, well, you have Alexa. So
Yes.
that's really awesome that you got to work on that. And I know that you are an award-winning technologies entrepreneur and have led a lot of different teams. And where did your passion really come, for this tech solutions with AI start?
Yeah, I always think way back and think about, how my dad had me reading, the golden age of science fiction and Asimov and Bradbury, where there were always computers around. But I think my journey really maybe took a bigger turn when, I have a son who has Down syndrome. And when he was born, there wasn't a whole lot of technology to support him. And I was already a technologist at that time. And then my dad ended up having an accident that impeded his ability to use technology in a traditional way. And so I started to really look for it turned out that data science and AI ended up being the type of technology that I could use to help them. But that really turned on my laser focus on like, how do we reduce friction for humans in general? I have two humans I care very specifically about, but really it ends up being much broader as I go into organizations, like just reducing friction in everyday lives for humans in interacting with the machines that they need to do their work.
Right. Yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. That's a really great story. And I think it's great how, now technology can help people, right? And to actually be more mobile, be more involved in communities and all those kind of things. So,
Yes.
and among other things, you're currently supporting companies in building intelligent contact centers. What exactly is an intelligent contact center for people that don't know, including myself?
Yes, yes. Yeah, so we all know contact centers. We've all called into contact centers. And for a long time, automation in these contact centers tended to be like IVR, these intelligent voice systems, or so they said, that would walk you through, an automated system. Every time I call the airlines, right? It's like press 3 for this and press 4 and say this word. Oh, wait, I can't understand you. Say it again. It's just, needless to say, friction
Right.
in these systems. However, there's part of the industry that's really now focused, not necessarily solely focused on the customer, journey, but really on the contact center person, like the person in the contact center, because they also have a tough job of handling massive amounts of requests, of figuring out what happens. I'll give you an example. An airline recently, right, had some pretty traumatic situation, weather induced, but still had hundreds of thousands of flights and people stranded, long wait times, and their contact center crumbled under that velocity and that
Yeah.
capability. So they're looking for a solution, like, how do we equip not only our staff, and needless to say, that causes people to be like, maybe I don't want this job, right? Like, this is hard work and
Yeah.
I'm not feeling successful. So intelligent contact centers really came in to augment existing contact center solutions, right? How do we make the job of that person answering the phone? How do we make sure that they're not having to deal with, everyone knows password requests, right? Getting 100 password requests in one day and having a human literally go copy your password into an email and send it to you.
Yeah,
This happens in most
exactly.
companies, right? But there are certain types of tasks that a computer would be great at. And it's a matter of kind of sitting down with a contact center representative and saying, what do you absolutely abhor about your day? And they give us a wealth of information, sometimes with tears in their eyes of how bad it is. And we're like, oh, great, there's AI for that. There's automation. Sometimes it's not even AI. Sometimes it's just a decision tree. Sometimes it's, a chat bot, or I really now call it an intelligent agent. But
Right.
yeah, so an intelligent contact center is really just one that's infused with some additional technology to assist that contact center representative to serve their customers faster and better than ever before, and do it with a smile on their face.
Right. No, I'm sure that job is really stressful and,
It certainly
this is
can
helping.
be.
Yeah. And I mean, I was thinking of Alexa. Is some of that technology being used in these contact centers? It sounds like that definitely makes sense, right?
Absolutely. Amazon has one of the largest contact center solutions in the world. It is called Amazon Connect, and it has infused many of Alexa's technologies in the form of Lex, but it has something like 70 different intelligent agents that are assisting that contact
Wow.
center representative, which is awesome, right? If you think about it as someone who picks up the phone, of course, I'd love to know, is this customer already mad? Which with AI, I can figure that out, right? I have sentiment analysis. I can tell, did they use explicatives, right, in talking to the robotic process that got them to me?
Right.
Right? And in that case, I can use a different level of empathy before the call has even started. Many times, though, we're cold coming into these conversations. So now we get a 360-degree view of our customer before they've even seen us, right? Before they even get on the phone. I know, oh, they tried 4 different times in the chat bot, on the website. They tried to call us 6 times. They've been on hold for 48 minutes, right? I know all of this at the glass in, a graphical presentation. So I can be much better equipped to handle, the situation, as opposed to, like I said, getting kind of caught off guard and be like, yeah, I understand. I'm the fourth person you talked to. Okay, I didn't know that, which is
Right.
often where we put a lot of these representatives.
Yeah, no, and I think when does an intelligent contact center make sense for an organization? Obviously, Alexa has that because they have so much, I'm sure, support that they're providing for their customers. But when, if you're a smaller org, when do you think it makes sense to actually invest into something like that?
Yeah, so similar to Alexa, when Alexa started, right, it was very small. We didn't know if it would be successful. We didn't know if it would. I mean, now it's in over 100 million homes. That was not day one, right? Day one was 1,000 beta testers that were kind of like, this is so cool, but it's kind of broken, right? So investing in a contact center is something that you have to think strategically about. And ultimately, it's about your customer journey. What happens and will happen when they struggle to use whatever it is you're offering, whether it's a product, a service, right? If you have customers, you should have a content, not necessarily a contact center, but certainly a customer contact strategy. And that's really where it starts, is how are you going to engage with your customer when they need help? That's really what this is about. Some organizations have called it customer success, especially in the early days. But
Yep.
eventually, you're going to need a team of people that are going to be high touch with those customers and solve those problems. over time, as you evolve, as an organization, you're going to start to see the same questions happen over and over again. And as that occurs, you don't want to keep that burden on a human to answer the same question you already know the
Right.
answer to, right? So that's when, if you have a contact center strategy, okay, as soon as I see this happen, I actually say more than twice, but as soon as I see a routine of this pattern, I'm going to document it. And then we're going to create an intelligent agent that's going to handle this request because we already know the answer. These intelligent agents today can be infused with every product manual simultaneously, every website that you've built around that product, and every chat conversation you've had in the past. So it can be very contextual in answering customers' requests and know when to hand it off to an agent before that frustration sets in. So I think really every company should have a customer contact strategy. And usually that leads to a contact center being created or outsourced.
Cool. No, that's really, that's awesome. And I think that sounds like a really good strategy for a lot of businesses. And what
Yeah.
are some of the requirements for organizations that are looking to implement more intelligent solutions to engage with their customers?
Yeah, well, I think the biggest requirement is a bit of self awareness around knowing how these technologies work. So we went through, and you might remember these days, the chatbot days, right? Where everyone was like, well, I can build a chatbot, right? And
Yeah,
they started going in and implementing conversational AI without really thinking through like how many different ways a human might say something or how many different types of things a human might ask for. And so they ended up deploying something. I mean, today I know very large companies that have very weak chat conversational agents because they just never invested the time to really understand what does the customer need. And that's why I say it always starts with that kind of strategy that we want to listen to our customer, and as they experience problems, document those problems and automate those solutions. Not every problem will be able to be automated, but when you have that process or that workflow in your organization, you'll know, oh my gosh, we've answered this 400 times and the answer is literally copied and pasted from a document. That's a great
right.
sign that, an AI tool can be used. But many times, again, back to the requirements, we don't really understand all the technology that's needed in order to make that solution work. For example, robustness. So many times when you need your contact center or contact strategy the most is when bad things happen. And often you'll get an influx. And if you have not built a robust system to handle that, and that's actually part of our responsible AI strategy, like if you're building a contact, you should be responsible enough to know what's the worst possible situation and how do I burst or elastically expand to handle that
Right.
capacity. And many organizations, they don't think about that until it's too late.
Well, no, thank you so much for sharing that. It makes a ton of sense. And I know that you're going to be a panelist at our upcoming Data Science Salon in
Yay.
Miami on September 21st. Yay! Which will focus really around AI and machine learning applications in the enterprise. And you have worked with so many large organizations. What are some of your favorite use cases? Maybe the top three for machine learning in the enterprise.
Oh my gosh. I would say I'll just maybe talk through my favorite, and it sounds weird to say my favorite because it actually is a pretty painful situation. But I'm close to it, when I found out that there was a company working on it, I don't think it's in production, so I can't share the name, but they're an insurance company. They deal with death insurance and casualty insurance, and they had a process that took about 3 months in order for a customer to go through. So if one of their clients had a death in the family and they needed to apply for benefits, it was a very long process. Get the death certificate, mail it in, have a notarized document, all of these like manual processes. Someone had to manually transcribe that into a system. It just took months. And if you can
Wow.
imagine the pain you're in that moment, right? As your client's like, for goodness sakes, I just need help. Like I just want,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. You don't
And
want to
so
deal with this for 3 months.
that's right. So now you start aggregating, and I believe in a multimodal experience, right? How do we meet our customers where they are? They ended up creating a WhatsApp messenger, which also is available on Facebook Messenger, but WhatsApp, where you go in and they say, great, just send us a picture of the certificate. You get the picture of the certificate. There's validation happening on the back end to validate its authenticity. If there's any concerns, obviously, then it takes a little longer. But if it matches the validated format, it goes into an automated extraction service. It extracts all the data and sends it to 3 teams simultaneously, so that process goes from 3 months to 2 days. Like 2 days, they
Wow.
have an answer, and then their benefits kick in. And to me, like, I get goosebumps in those use cases where I'm like,
Yeah, that's like life changing for
that's
some
life
people, right?
changing for so many people. And just knowing, we know what it's like to be, a mom, and just care, just it's so important to keep aware that these use cases, these, data science things that we're working on, they really do impact people at the heart of their livelihood. And so, yeah, it's one of my favorite use cases. And it integrates a lot of tech, right? So it's got text analytics, document automation, of course, computer vision, text extraction. So there's all these, and conversational AI, which is this chatbot that walks them through
Yep.
the process. I just love that aggregation, because many times we have like one AI and we use it as a pinpointed solution. But I really like it when we start to pull, that's the future, right? We start to pull all these AI models together into a more holistic solution that serves more people.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's a great use case. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
sharing that and joining us today, Noel. Really excited to see you at the event on September 21st, and it's going to be a full week of things. And I know that you're also speaking at Pi Data, which is the day after.
Yes.
And we're actually going to share a link where you can apply to attend the event if you don't have the budget. So we hope that a lot of local people, the local community, comes together and we get to see all of you. And also, people are going to watch virtually as well. So it'll be really cool. We're going to live stream everything. So, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this and have a wonderful rest of the week and weekend. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Noel.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.